Okay, in this video, Seco trimmer here, primer bulb broke open. So, I'm going to replace that, clean the carburetor out. So I figured I would film it. I'm going to use it tomorrow in the neighbor's yard. So I want to get this done today. I did get the LT1000 back together. I didn't film the putting it back together because it was just the same as taking it apart, just minus the hours of cleaning that it took. So enough about that. Get started on this. These screws in here, T27. First thing, you want to take this throttle cable off here, which you want to take off this outer nut, because if you take off the inner nut, you'll kind of goof up the adjustment and have to redo it. See, I've never done one of these, so then you kind of want to go like that. Let me see here. If I take a screwdriver and go kind of like that. Maybe I will. Okay, so I'm going to take the carburetor off now so I can get that cable out of that little brass, that thing right there. I might put new fuel lines on it. I don't know yet. I have I have this here from something else left over. Grommet and lines. Came in a kit, but I had already done the lines on something else, so I didn't need it. Take these screws here out, if they'll ever come out. Okay, it's just about out. They make these screws always real long. Okay, so you want to just slide that assembly there off. You get this throttle cable out. Try not to spin that nut. You just want to go like that, and then slide it out. You got your two fuel lines here. One thing I should have done was crack this tank lid so it didn't have any pressure in the lines. Yeah, I'm probably going to replace that line. That black line there is cracked up pretty good. In this part here, this metal part here will come out to hold the air filter cover onto there. So just be aware of that and be sure you put it back on. So, here's the carburetor. It's not exactly clean. I'm going to purge the primer bulb into this oil drain pan over here to get the gas out of it real quick. And one quick thing I want to show you on these type of carburetors, down in there on the top of the carburetor where that nut is the low speed adjustment, and right down in there, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a little brass circle, and down in there is the high speed. This trimmer actually did run. It ran pretty good, but that primer bulb broke, and I could tell the carburetor wasn't quite as good as it could be, so that's why I'm cleaning it. There's your primer bulb. There is a gasket on the back of it, so just be aware of that. This one didn't want to come off without tearing, so I'm just leaving it. You got 4 screws on this side here. Phillips or flathead. Take those off. I'm going to grab a rag real quick so I don't spill any gas on this table. Kind of help clean, help keep the mess down. If I can find one here that's good to use. No, it's this one here. It's got bunch of leaves on it, or a leaf, but it will work. These microfiber rags are real grippy. I don't like them, but they do okay. It's hard to get dirt off of them. Give you guys a nice yellow background here. Main reason why I'm always in the garage with the door closed is because we live on a really busy highway, and I think it would pick the camera would pick up all the traffic, so I try to help with that, or I try to keep that down with the door closed, or I'll go out in the backyard and do something. I don't think I've ever cleaned an Echo carburetor. I haven't worked on a lot of Echoes before. A couple Echo leaf blowers, that's about it. I don't know if these screws are different lengths. Watch out for that, just in case yours are. Hopefully this primer bulb I found is the right size. We have a couple others sitting around if it isn't. Hopefully those will work if this one don't. Those two are the same length. It's pretty hot in here. It's 80. It's been warm these past few days. It had cooled down, then it went back up into the 80s and 90s. It's been pretty hot. I like winter. I hate this 90 and 100 degree weather around here. All those screws do appear to be the same length. Forgot where I put my screwdriver. There's a screw holding this white plate down. I don't know why, but there is. Seemed like those 4 screws would hold it down, but I guess they thought it needed more. I'm going to keep that one separate because it is a different length of screw. Don't really want to tear any gaskets because you do not have any parts for this thing. If I can help it, I just want to try to gently take this thing off. There we go. Yeah, there's that adjustment that I was talking about right down in there. Well, it's not in here, but I do have a screwdriver laying around that I could show you that this takes. So here is your metering diaphragm under this cover. That other is your pumping diaphragm. It uses the crankcase pressure. Sometimes these screws can be a little bit tricky to get out. I hope this diaphragm is in good shape because I don't think we have any others. If we did, I'd have to dig around for a real long time to find one. Those are different screws as well, so you want to keep that in mind. Those are pretty small. Then gently peel that up off of there. It's kind of a little bit hooked in there. There we go. That don't look terrible. I mean, no, that's not in bad shape. It's not too dirty in there. I will just blow out the holes a little bit. I'll get some carb cleaner real quick. If you're going to use compressed air, I would recommend being very gentle. There's a lot of fragile parts in these 2-stroke carburetors. I'm just going to blow a little bit into each hole. Just to clean anything out. Really, working on this stuff really isn't all that hard if you just know how to do it. You can make a good career out of it. And you also want to put something in that, some sort of liquid in that little screen there, and then push on this little rocker arm here, and if whatever you put in there goes through, then you know that passageway through there is clear. Okay, now I'll compare this to the primer bulb that I cannot find. No, I thought I just had it out here. It's probably right on this table. Oh, here it is. I think that'll work. It looks to be the same. Okay, just slides right into this plate here, like so. Here's this. You do want to wipe this off real good, get any gunk off of it before it goes back on. I'm not going to spray it with anything. I don't want to damage it if that would, because this is still a good working carburetor. I've heard that carburetor cleaner damages gaskets and all that. I've never had it done, but I've never had it damage anything. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but I'm not gonna sit here and say it will. I'm just saying it's never happened to me. Put this screw back in here. This one is slightly shorter than the 4 that go around there. This is a very simple trimmer to work on, really. Snug that down. You don't need these very tight, just enough to where they don't leak, and I'll give that a quick spray. Here's this cover, which I think that primer bulb is going to fit in there. I'll have to, yep, that fits, I believe. Yep, it fits. Set that down onto there, like so. Put the 4 screws back in. You want to tighten these kind of evenly. I'll show you what I mean, like do that one, that one, that one, that one. Kind of get an even smush on the gasket. And like I said, you don't need these crazy tight. Just snug enough to where it don't leak. I'm gonna switch to this Phillips because that flathead kind of a little tricky to deal with, these tiny screws. Okay, that works. All that looks good. You want to be sure on these carburetors there's like a little tab for the metering diaphragm cover, and you want to be sure that it gets lined up properly. You want to be sure, and that diaphragm will need replaced. You want to be sure that that metal part there trying to get to where you can see. You want to be sure that that is facing the carburetor, so it goes diaphragm then gasket, because that there pushes on this little rocker to let the fuel through. Trying to get this, and here's these two screws. Line those up. I'll probably show you it running tomorrow because it's dark out right now, so there'd be no point in doing that tonight. Okay, there's, yep, it's flowing. So I think I'm going to do the fuel lines too. Might as well while we're here. So I'm going to grab another rag real quick to wipe off around the tank grommet. I would definitely recommend putting on safety glasses, because sometimes gas can spew out of those lines and get in your eye, and then you have to get it washed out, especially if you have sensitive eyes. Had a bad day. Kind of, these grommets, I've always had trouble with them before. I can't hardly ever get them. Let's see, that filter going to come out? Yeah. I do need this vent thing. The other lines don't have it. We don't have any new ones, of course. Here's the new assembly. Let's see. I'll make that one the vent line. Clean off and around there. Stick, I want to get that on there a little bit better. Guess that's as far as that goes. Stick that in like so. Push it down in. Gotta kind of snake all those lines in there. And just kind of, let's see, get one side in. And then kind of gotta pry it in like so without poking it, because usually I can never get these. Okay, I'm gonna pause the camera and get these in. Okay, got the grommet in. It was somewhat difficult. The key is getting it nice and slippery. Trying to find a good angle here. Yeah, you can see good enough. So you want to be sure that you get the lines correct on the carburetor. Let's see. So, trying to figure out which one is which here. I think that this one here will go here. Check. Nope. Let's see. So, I think I need this line here to go on there. Nope. Try the other side. See, I gotta check that the filter is got gas over it, which it appears to have gas. Let me shake it to kind of get the filter down in there. Hang on, I'm going to pause the camera while I do this part. Okay, next step is getting this part back on here and getting it installed back. That's not supposed to do that, but I'll take this cap off here. Get these screws going in. T27. It's kind of hard to do on this table. I'm trying not to take too much longer because it kind of stinks in here. This gas has seafoam in it, and I don't like that I'm wasting gas because seafoam isn't like it's free. So for some reason these fuel lines aren't quite long enough. So I gotta pull a little bit extra out to get them up on the fitting of the carburetor, and just do like that, push it up in there. There we go. Just check to be sure I got the lines on there right, which is priming pretty good. So next step is this throttle cable here. You just kind of want to, take this. Where's the screwdriver go? Oh, it's right here. Take a screwdriver, does the slot, go kind of do something like that. Maybe that needs switched around. I think that's different on one side from another. This part's kind of tricky here. I don't know. That's not wanting to go in there. I'll try again the other way. Do something like that. Go slide it in like that. And then push on that and try to get that to slide in there if I can. Hang on, I'm going to pause the camera again. I'm not making you watch all this. Okay, now just got to tighten up this nut here, like so. Put those wires back down in there. I'm not gonna mess with that. Put that back on, and I will flip it over on this one side just to make sure that there's no leaks anywhere. Make sure I have that cap on, which I did not. Bang the end of it on everything. Flip it up, let that gas sit there a second. Make sure the lines aren't going to leak. I don't see any dripping. Seems to be good. Alright. So, I think I'm going to call this a video. Well, yeah, I'll do a test start tomorrow. Alright, so thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to put your air filter on. That's just a little little doohickey there. You just screw it on. So like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.